So apart from understanding how different population change over time, so the MacArthur and Wilson also proposed this idea of R and K selected species. So R and K selected species talks about different species which are affected by the population density, population size, and all the factors that regulate the population, that is reproductive events, growth, mortality. So all of these factors are density dependent. Okay, so they are dependent on changes in population and density, and they are varying across different species, and they were collectively called with respect to R or K, that is if they are dependent on rate or dependent on asymptote or the particular carrying capacity. So R selected species are highly productive, they have a shorter lifespan, they produce in large numbers, whereas K selected species stay for a longer period of time, they produce in a lower number. So we have different ideas about it, and we can collectively call that in a table. So we can see that the R selected species reproduce many times a year, whereas K selected only produces few. The growth rate is fast, and they have low longevity of lifetime, and the mortality is high, whereas the growth is slow in K selected species, but they might grow to large individuals, and the mortality is very low, pretty low, or the longevity is high. The adult size are small, they are large, the fecundity is high, they produce more number of individuals per unit time. So the clutch size or the patch size or the production of eggs, the numbers are pretty high, where in case of K selected species it is low. Parental care is low because different multiple individuals are produced, so the parental care is low, and because of the parental care is low, the mortality is also high. Okay, whereas in case of K selected species, the parental care is high because low number of individuals are produced, so there is high parental care. And R selected species have higher chances of colonizing and competing because they have higher mortality, they produce in a such shorter time, so they have higher rate of colonization. As you can see, lower invertebrates and lower number of individuals like flies, mosquitoes, rats, they have higher probability of colonizing different areas, and they are found widespread. And K selected species have a low colonization rate, but they can also colonize over multiple time period. Now endurance to adverse conditions. So because they are quickly dying, so they have poor chances for endurance or survival with respect to changing conditions, whereas K selected species have good chances. Now R selected species are lowly specialized, they don't have that much of variation to support or to endure conditions, whereas K selected species have high chances of support and variation. So we here are a few examples of bear, elephants. Most of the mammals are K selected species. Few mammals like rats which produce in large number are R selected species. So all in all, you can say the differences between R selected species and K selected species can be narrowed down to number of reproductive events, the growth, mortality, longevity, and adult size. So if you can consider these particular factors, then you can easily identify the variable species in R selected or K selected. Apart from that, there is 3/2 power of self-thinning. It is also called as Yoda's law. This usually refers to the fact of plants, where it talks about in a particular region, a plant has a tendency to slowly decrease the growth of other plants if they are density dependent and the resources are limited. Then if the resource dependent mortality happens in plant, then that will happen with respect to biomass. In the sense, in a region, in a patch, if there is a big tree, okay, let's say there is a huge tree, then the seedlings that put up in this region will not grow that much of resources, and they will thin out, they will go out with a ratio of 3/2. And we can calculate that, we can quantify that by measuring the biomass. So we can see how much of growth is happening with respect to the biomass changes. So mean weight of the plant that is present, the population size, and the rate constant. So it is talking about when the biomass of a region increases, the availability of biomass, that is resource accumulation, increases, then the number of population will decrease. If the biomass in a region, so it will self thin, it will automatically decrease on their own if the biomass is more. That means the resource that is acquired is getting lower and lower, hence they will thin out. Okay, so this is also called as 3/2 power law of self thinning. In short, you can say that in a patch, if there are plants, multiple plants, then the higher the biomass it gets, the lower the number of individuals it will get. And that will happen with a ratio of -3/2 with power, the power of the population size. Okay, so now we'll do some problems to understand the population growth and population size properly, because these are problem based questions. So we'll do problems and it will give an idea. Now the question talks about logistical growth, where the growth rate is given 0.15 and the maximum carrying capacity is 400. And the question is all about what is the maximum growth rate. Now to understand that, let's go over the diagram of logistic population growth. So logistic population growth happens like this. Okay, so there is a asymptote that is around here. So this is the carrying capacity K, and this is how population is increasing over time. Now the interesting fact is the population grows over time, right? The population was here, let's say 0, and it grew up to 400. But the thing is, once it reaches around 400, it will slow down. Okay, so let's say if there are 400 individuals acquiring a particular resource, then the from going from 0 to 400, they will lower down once it reaches around the highest strength. Let's say if you're talking about taking of students in a class. Okay, so if there are the strength of the students are 400, then in the beginning I might take 200 students, 100 students, but once I reach the outer limit, that is around 400, I'll reduce the intake. So I might take 2 students, 10 students, or 5 students, like that. So the growth of the population will decrease as it goes nearer to the carrying capacity. So where will it be highest? The population growth will be highest when it is around the half of the carrying capacity. So the population growth is highest or maximum when it is around the K/2, which is also sometimes called as maximum yield. Okay, it is also sometimes referred as the maximum yield. So maximum yield happens at around the half of the carrying capacity. Okay, so maximum growth rate will happen around half of the carrying capacity, or the maximum sustainable yield. It is sometimes also called as maximum sustainable yield, that happens at around the half of the carrying capacity. Now the thing is, while we are talking about maximum carrying capacity on all, this question talks about what is the maximum growth rate. What is the maximum growth rate? So we know the formula. So dn by dt is equals to r n 1 minus n by k. We can also write that as, r n k minus n by k, same thing. Okay, so yeah, the maximum growth rate, or we can call, let's say, dn by dt max. Okay, so that will be at around the population when it acquires or reaches around half of the carrying capacity. So it will be when the n will, so dn by dt, or the growth rate, will be maximum when the n is k/2 or 200. So dn by dt, here let's say d max, let's call it d max, that is the rate is at 1.5 into n we put as 200 because it is the population at which the maximum it will be done, into 1 minus n by k. Okay, so 0.15 into 200 into half. Okay, so you'll get that in hundreds. The answer is 15. Hope you got it. So what we did is we put up the population at which the maximum growth rate was as k/2. That is half of the carrying capacity. Okay, now coming to the next question. Again, the question is about maximum sustainable yield. Okay, here the thing is, you have to see that whenever we are talking about maximum sustainable yield directly, what we can do is just put and multiply the rate with n and minus n by k. So we can directly do it. 0.15 into 20,000 into half. Okay, So you will get 1500 directly. So 1500 is the answer. Okay, so this is simple things. Whenever we talk about maximum sustainable yield or maximum growth rate, so we'll talk about these things and or we'll apply this kind of scenarios. Now, the next question, where it talks about the change in density or the population density, it is somewhat similar, if you're understanding in the change in population over time. So at time t, the population density was 160. At time t plus 1, it increased to 200. So we can count the rate where the growth is happening at about 200 minus 160, that is 40 individuals per one time period. So 40 is 1/4, so the rate is 1/4. That will be given if we can put that into this manner. So what we are trying to find is we have to try and find the R. So what happened is the change was 40, we didn't know the R, and we found that the change in population from the initial to final population was 40, and the rate into total number of population. Yeah, so dn by dt r into n, we are putting that. So the change in population, so this is dn by dt, the change in population. So change in population is change in population from initial minus final. So change in population is 40, and we found out that the rate is 1/4. So when we put that into next populations, we'll get that how the change is coming up. So t plus 1, it was 200. So what will be at t plus 2? At it is going at the rate of 1/4. So at 200 plus 200 into 1/4. So that is 50. So t plus 2, the population was 250, and t plus 3, the population will be 250 into 1/4 plus 250 as usual. So it will add up to the given population. So it will become what, 62.5, right? So it will become 312.5, which is nearly to this one, right? So the answer is 312. Then coming to the next question, the next question talks about exponentially increasing population, which increased from this to this in 2 hours, and we are talking about per capita growth rate. We are talking about per capita growth rate. Now per capita growth rate is growth rate per individual. Growth rate per individual. Okay, so you have to understand the per capita growth rate refers to growth rate per individual. Now that is important in the sense you can understand this, that per capita growth rate is fixed in case of exponential growth and lowers down in logistic growth. I repeat, in exponential growth, per capita growth is same. Okay, whereas in case of logistic growth, per capita growth PCG decreases as it reaches K. Okay, so this is, you have to remember this. Now the logic behind it is, as we have studied in exponential growth, all of the individuals are producing in a similar growth pattern. So when we saw that 100 individuals were producing, each of them producing 2 individuals. So the growth rate per individual was same. Whereas in case of logistic growth, what happens is when it reaches towards the asymptote, okay, when it reaches towards the carrying capacity, what will happen is the growth rate will obviously decrease over time. Yeah. So the entire population growth rate is decreasing, so as for the population growth of per individual. So yeah, so the question talks about exponential increase from 10 to the power 5 to 10 power 6. Okay, and we are talking about the ratio. So yeah, so per capita growth rate at initial time and per capita growth rate at the end of or final time. So we are talking about what is the ratio at the end of 2 hours to the ratio of the initial time. So we know that an exponentially increasing population, the per capita growth rate is same. That is, we can see the population is increasing the rate of 10. So at the initial time it was 10, and at the final time it will be 10 as well, because it is exponentially increasing. So what is the ratio? So the ratio is 10 is to 10, that is 1. So the answer is 1. Okay, hope you got it. We have to understand per capita growth rate. Then comes meta communities or meta population dynamics. We are talking about multiple population. So multiple population are subject to colonization and extinction. So the question talks about the rate of colonization, of habitat patch by A and B. So colonization rate of A is CA and B is CB. Now the thing is, rate of extinction in the absence of competition. Rate of extinction in the absence of competition is EA and EB. In the absence of competition, okay. But the condition is species A is a superior competitor. So species A is a superior competitor and has more chances of competing, right? So what are the conditions which will allow to continued persistence of species B? How would species B survive if A or the species A has a higher rate of competition or is a superior competition? So the answer would be B. Why? Because here you can say the colonization to extinction rate of if B is higher than that of the colonization rate to the extinction rate. So even if A is a better competitor, if the C can colonize an area better than that case of CA, then they can survive. Even if A are competing for the resources, if they have larger number of individuals which can colonize, then they can survive for that period. Okay, so on all the other things that we're talking, so this is not going to be true, because if it is lower, A is already a better competitor, and if it has higher colonization rate, then they'll outgrow B. B needs to survive. So what are the conditions for B to survive? So similarly, this can be a true thing, but the thing is not only colonization. Even if they are colonizing higher rate and the extinction rate is also higher, then they will decline as well. So the ratio between the colonization and the extinction should be more. I mean, the ratio of colonization should be higher than that of the extinction rate. Okay, so yeah, so this is the right answer. Hope you got all the questions. We'll also study more questions. If you are finding some more questions like this, we can discuss that in the sessions. Thank you.